What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my nomadic life and why I'm frankly just kind of tired of doing it. I am also I'm going to cover my background with becoming a nomad. I'm going to talk about, the things that I've done being a nomad and why I am still a nomad today, despite the fact that I don't really want to do it anymore. Because being a digital nomad, I think, is like this crazy, it's almost like living in a fantasy, especially to people that don't do it. And they think like, wow, that's so cool. You get to travel and you get to work from these like beautiful places. And that's definitely a part of it. You can go live somewhere where your money can go really far, especially if you have a strong passport. Like, who wouldn't want to be able to do that? And, live in nomad communities and do all these activities together and connect with more like-minded people, and then also connect with the cultures and the places that you travel to. It sounds amazing, right? It's the best of both worlds, travel and work. But I want to talk about the reasons why I actually no longer want to be a nomad, why I'm tired of it, but I can't quit. I can't quit being a nomad. So let me start off with a little bit of background as to how I got into it. Doing what I do has actually always been a dream of mine, to be able to work remotely in the travel field and live wherever I want. I always kind of wanted to leave the US. And when I was a teenager, I was super interested in travel blogs and photography. This was before Instagram was big, and the industry is what it is today. So I used to do blogs and didn't really get anywhere with them, but that's when I moved to Taiwan and taught English, and I was still getting into content creation, which finally put me at the place where I could start working, I could start freelancing. I could do the dream that I wanted to. Maybe I wasn't blogging as I used to dream about doing, but I was still doing travel content, I was actually working for a blogger and working for other travel content creators and then doing my own stuff. And after I left Taiwan, I had a bunch of money saved and I just went for it. And since then, I've spent 6 months in Colombia, 7 months in Vietnam, traveled to Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Thailand. I don't know, there's probably a few other places like Costa Rica, Mexico. I've been back to Taiwan multiple times. So yeah, I've been living that nomad life basically since about 2022. And only some periods of time where I'd really stay somewhere for a long period of time. Like when I stayed in Colombia, I was there for 6 months straight and I never left. So it felt much more like I was living versus traveling. But when I was traveling Asia last year in 2023, I was moving somewhere almost every 2 weeks. Sometimes I'd stay somewhere a month, or sometimes I would stay somewhere only maybe a week. So I'll put it this way. I was so fucking tired of packing up my stuff and moving. I'm still so tired of it. I hate it so much. And in 2023, when I was traveling, I had a backpack, which I did like, but sometimes it was just so annoying to pick up and have to carry and then unpack and then also live with such limited amount of clothes and things, where it's I want to up my style. I want to be able to present myself better. I want to just have more options, and living out of this backpack where I can't carry as much isn't really helping me. Then when I went back to the US last year in 2024, okay, so 2023 and 2024, I was carrying my backpack. October 2024, I finally switched into my suitcase because I went back to the States. I have a 50-pound suitcase now. It's heavy, but it gets around. And now, since I came back to Asia in November, I travel so much more slowly. Minimum, I'll be somewhere for 2 weeks. Max, I'm okay with a month, 2 months. I stayed in Da Nang in Vietnam for 2 months. I'm going to be in Taiwan for the next few months. I don't want to move. So I think this is my nomad experience. Every other nomad lives kind of differently. Some of them stay in the same area all the time. Other people travel. I would say I was traveling quite frequently, and now I still kind of travel frequently-ish, but I am slowing down and trying to take it at least month by month in places because it's exhausting. It's really exhausting. So yeah, you just hit a point where like packing up your stuff and going to another place is just like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't want to do this again. And then like, you know, like thinking about like, oh, am I gonna have to carry my bag upstairs to the next place I go to? Yeah, it's tiring. Like I really am just like over it. So that's not why I want to. Okay, so these are the kinds of the reasons that why I want to like quit, because I am getting exhausted in that sense. But and the other reason that I want to stop being a nomad is because I want to just be settled. Like I just want to stay in one place. I don't want to move around all the time. But then the question comes in like, oh well, if I just want to quit, oh, not that nice red mark here. If I want to quit, like, you know, I think when nomads decide like, okay, I'm done with this, I just want to go home. I don't have that. There's no like, I mean, I guess home could be like my bedroom at my mom's house, which is not the room that I grew up in. It's just the extra room at her house, which thank goodness I can have that. But like, that's not it for me. That's not it. And not even just that space. It's the US is like not it. You know, I think when you're a nomad and you've been so many places and have like lived other places, like I also lived integrated into Taiwan systems and like how just so many other things, when you realize how many things work differently in the world, from maybe healthcare to how safe they are, and then you look at your home country and you're like, you know, it's not even, I mean, it's not even about like sometimes like, oh, there's nice beaches here. Why would I live in America if there's really pretty beaches over here? Or like this and this, like more like, how can I say, more like superficial things that are better maybe abroad than the States, but like things that are actually like I've been safe for so long now, like especially living in Asia. Why would I go back to the US and pay more money to live? You know, I don't even mind if I'm here in Taiwan and, you know, I pay more, or if I'm in Japan and I'm paying more. It's because I love those places and I'm safe. You know, it's like, how can I say, like, for example, like I could go to Vietnam and I could be paying way, way less and I would still feel quite safe there. But I don't know, like the States, it's like, why would I pay ass loads of money to live somewhere where I just don't trust that my environment is not going to end my life? So yeah, so I am like, how can I say, I'm still a nomad, not because I want to be, but because one, the one option to end being a nomad is to go back to the US, which I don't even know how to like do that anymore. I don't even know how to do that. Like, not just from the fact that it's not like a livable place for me. I just don't know how to like reintegrate into that system, because you got to pay to play, and like I really don't want to invest that much money to reintegrate back into the US by, you know, getting an apartment, figuring out healthcare, figuring out like transportation, and making sure that my income is probably like, I don't know, at least double than what it is now. Like, and yeah, no, we all know it's just no. So anyways, that's that. So the other way to end being a nomad is to find somewhere else I want to stay. So why don't I just do that? I mean, that's not a bad idea. How do I look in the camera? Alright, I'm just doing like a little check here, I guess. I washed my hair today, so it's nice and fluffy. Okay, so the second option, right? Find somewhere to stay long term. And that's what so many nomads I do, specifically like in Da Nang, in Vietnam. There's so many that stay there full time. They just live there. They do visa runs all the time. But they're staying there, you know, they have their place. And like, it's like, well, why do I not do that then? And the thing is I don't know exactly where I want to do that. Like, I love Vietnam, but I don't know if that's like what I want. I really like the nomad community in Da Nang, for example, but I don't feel as integrated with the local community as I would like to. Having, in my experiences in being abroad a lot of the time, my initial experiences, I was typically one of like the few foreigners in a very like local area, having to, you know, speak the local language, really integrate culturally, and not having so many other people like me to kind of rely on. Like, there still were, but it wasn't like the community itself like was kind of built around the needs of people like me coming there to hang out and live and work, like in maybe like parts of Mexico or in Bali or in Da Nang. Like, those were my initial experiences living abroad. And so there's nothing wrong with, like, if you're a nomad, I guess, living among other nomads and just, doing your activities together and stuff. Like, I loved that when I was in Da Nang. I really did. But I just there's the part of me that just doesn't like that I don't feel as connected with the local community. And in Vietnam, it's really hard in the sense that, like, the language barrier can be so big, and I would say also at some point when you've just traveled so much and when you've, like, really integrated into local places, like, it's cool, but at some point that also, like, that can be really tiring to live somewhere where you have to, like, culturally, like, kind of push yourself and challenge yourself a lot, to kind of fit in, or, like, try to fit in as much. Like, I'm tired of doing that too. Of course everywhere to some extent, but, like, do I want to move to the middle of Vietnam and, like, start learning Vietnamese to help me feel, like, more, connected? I don't know. It is a lot of effort to go somewhere and start learning the language and to try to socially integrate, especially if you've already done it in a few other places. And then it's like, well, if I were to, like, for example, intend to stay in Vietnam for long term, then yeah, I definitely would, because I don't like feeling like I'm just hanging out with people that are mostly like me and, like, not really, not as socially integrated with the locals as much as I have been in other places. I don't know. I just don't like that. I want to feel like at home, like, among every person I'm around, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. So that's why I don't do it, like, Vietnam, for example, or, like, Thailand. Like, it's just, like, I want to be somewhere where the local culture really feels like I really know it as well, and I'm not just hanging out with people where I share the same culture with, like, other Westerners. So yeah. And that's why actually I feel really good whenever I come back to Taiwan, because I never feel like it's like, yeah, I'm a foreigner, but I still feel very integrated into just being here. I speak some of the language and I desire to keep learning it. And, I just feel like on par with the lifestyle here. I feel like I'm still a foreigner, but I don't feel as outside or in this, like, bubble the way I do in other places. But with that said, so it's like I still am in this space where I want to go to some other countries, maybe particularly Spain, which I still haven't gone to, and I have talked about this in other videos. I think Taiwan is definitely one place where I want to consider trying to stay longer term, even if I end up just having to do visa runs. But I really want to check out Spain because I do speak Spanish, and I think, like, culturally there are probably already a lot of similarities that I can, just, like, live within and, not, just be. Like, Latin America, for example, is also a great option, but I just don't think it's just not as safe. And, like, I'm just not about that, like looking over my shoulder type of life anymore. Like, I don't want to do that at all. I don't like that. So, yeah, Spain could be another option for longer term. But this is why I'm in this space of, like, yes, I'm a nomad, but I'm not really doing this for fun anymore. I have done it for fun. It's been very exciting, but now I'm like, okay, I want to settle, but to return to my home country to settle, that sounds like the worst. Like, I'm like, why would I do that to myself? So I'm in this position of, like, okay, well, where do I try to start, like, settling longer term? And I think Taiwan is definitely going to be that. I've just been back for a week, and all I can do is think about, like, oh my God, I just love it here. Like, and now that I'm just like, okay, I'm just tired of moving and traveling, I just want to be here. This summer, I am actually going to be going to Europe, though. I have a festival that I'll be going to in Bulgaria. So I was just like, okay, life led me to that place. So while on one hand it would be nice to just do a visa run and just come back to Taiwan after this 3 months, I'm going to be going to Europe, probably travel a few countries there because I've never really spent any time in Europe. So it is the time to do it. It is the time to do it, even though, God damn it, I'm, like, tired of moving. But yeah, so we're going to see how that goes. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up finding a space out there that is going to be that, like, okay, this is going to be my longer term place. where I can kind of just flow within the life there between, you know, local and like other nomads. And yeah, so this is my story, I guess, of being a nomad and why it's not for me anymore. I think other nomads probably have very different maybe stories where they're like, oh, I don't know, you have to work in co-working spaces or your cafes, and it's like, I don't know, I've been there too, I've done that. I mean, yeah, but for me it's more just like moving around a lot and wanting to feel settled, like really wanting to just feel settled, because I think self-care gets a lot harder if you're not feeling settled. And I'm now in a space where it's like, you know, I really want to do this and this to improve myself and grow myself, but stability is now kind of required for that. So yeah, I don't know, thought I'd just share this video about my nomad life, where I'm at with it as a nomad. Are you an aspiring digital nomad? Are you a traveler? Or are you like, yeah, like, do you relate to any of this? Like, let me know. Maybe are you also an American that left their country and then, you know, you started nomading, and even though now maybe you don't want to be a nomad, you look at the US and you're like, maybe not. Yeah, it'd be really cool to hear your thoughts. So thank you guys so much for watching this video today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.